What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast, the High on LAFC podcast with your favorite host, myself, Dylan Monroy, as well as my good friend, who you don't always see, Jorge Martinez. Say hello.
What up, everyone?
What is up, my bud? My boy.
You know,
Bro. Fuck. Oh, shoot. Wait, I can cuss, sort of. Anyway.
do what you want, Dylan.
I know, I will. But I'm a little bit giddy, man. I'm a little bit giddy with like the way the season has kind of started.
For sure.
Because, I mean, out of both of us, I feel like I was more negative, at least at the beginning, like right before, because I was like, oh no, Chicho is not here. Oh, we don't have the depth in the midfield. And then I get shut up by what is going on right now with the front line, with Timothy Tillman being quite a good player.
I think Tillman ended up being kind of a surprise, and if anyone says otherwise, I think they're lying. Because
Yeah.
let's be real, okay? Like we all found out about Malik Tillman within the last 12 months, right? That's when he really was on everyone's radar. Once he declared the U.S. like he was going to play for the USMNT.
Well, you're talking about his brother, Malik.
Exactly. So I'm just that's where I'm going from. We're talking about his brother Malik. Then turns out he's got a brother.
Yeah,
Timothy.
dude, like, I
We
don't
didn't
think
know.
anyone even knew that he had a brother.
Mean, like, if you did, props to you personally. I don't
Yeah.
watch a lot of Bundesliga too.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So I didn't know. I wasn't aware. That we had a dual nat available for us. Out there. So that's the thing. He's a dual nat. He's not cap tied from what I understand. So I don't know. Maybe he can get into. Will he make it? Like he can get on the USMNT radar. Would be kind of cool. I don't know. It'd be nice to have another international on the team.
Right.
But Timothy Tillman, dude, what a surprise he's been. Like we didn't know too much about him coming into the beginning of the season, and he's come in to show us who he is. He's come on. I think his first game he came on for a sub. This game I wasn't sure if he played the last Champions League game. I think
he did play.
Yeah, and then starts this weekend, and dude, just commanding. I think we had mentioned before in the past how our starting lineup was amazing. But then when you started to rotate players, it kind of fell off, like Sebastian Mendez, he was a pretty good player, but it wasn't anything like anything for us to, cry about or anything. Like he was a good player, he did the job. And then Janela never popped off. He didn't necessarily work out great like we wish he did. But then we get Tillman, and I think he just provides this whole other sort of like depth to the squad, because not only is he like could be a depth player, depending on the matchup or whatever, or how you want to say it. Look at the lineup, because we can only have three in that mid the way we play. But he's a player that comes off the bench, or can come off the bench, and isn't just a okay, we just need fresh legs guy. He's actually someone who can come on and influence the game. He can do that from the beginning of the match, and he can do that coming in late into the match. So I think that's something that we may have lacked in the past, where before it was just like, hey, we just need more energy in the midfield. Let's get some fresh legs on there, and let's get some bodies moving, and get like balls flowing. Not that I thought that was Mendez, but specifically thinking of like Janela and others that came before.
Yeah,
him.
there wasn't really that guy that can move the ball forward. Because I always felt like the team was so reliant on Ilie to kind of like, Sergio Busquets his way, across the midfield, doing a couple short passes here or there, kind of sitting a little deeper. Whereas when I saw Tillman play, I felt like he had qualities of an Ilie kind of player who just kind of like pulls the strings. But he also has kind of the athleticism and the mobility and able to kind of go, box to box.
Yeah.
What I felt.
Yeah, he definitely has those qualities, and he was playing sort of like box to box and stuff. But I think he's something. I think what he provides on top of that is just like kind of a. I don't want to say he's like he's definitely not a deep line playmaker, but he's someone that from behind the lines can play balls. He's like I see him like a more forward-thinking Kellyan Acosta, if that makes any
Okay.
sense. You
Yeah,
know?
I could say that because I don't, as much as we see Acosta kind of shoot free kicks or, you know, put himself in contention for the national team and things, I don't always think Kellen Acosta is this offensive, you know, oriented kind of player. I feel like he's the cleanup guy, the guy who's gonna make the right pass, you know,
To me,
make the right decision defensively.
he's a straight up center mid. Like
Yeah.
center mid, can fill in the DM spots. Like like I guess if you wanted to like put labels on everything, CM to DM, like that would be his like
Right.
his area. But he's more of a straight up like center mid. Like I see him as like a 6. Maybe like he can play the ball out. He's good at passing. He's got like those long balls if you want
Yeah.
to play those. To kind of like I was mentioning, like Tillman can probably do as well. But he's more of like in that like center mid area. Whereas Ilie will can drop a little bit more down, kind of in front of the center backs, or kind of have all the, or we're in it, not always like that because I know we play kind of a high line too, but like Ilie will kind of sit back and then you'll have Acosta here and then Sifu or Tillman kind of
Right.
pushing a little bit more forward too, because I think Sifu and Tillman are going to be our sort of like our midfield sort of like attacking guys. Like that's where we're going to see a lot of the attack come from, which actually, if you think about it, is something that you and I had been saying for a long time, that
Right.
we need a cam and we need, because we were straight up thinking like a center attacking mid, like someone that's not going to
Like a
drop back.
10.
Yeah,
a
like a
natural
10. But what Cherundolo is doing, or what we've seen, I think is pretty great. Like I think he's building a sort of team of players that can, not jack of all trades, but like we're kind of a working team. We're not traditional in the sense. I mean, and as we've come to see, like not the traditional 10 isn't something that's utilized as much anymore.
Yeah.
But the
Dying
way,
art.
yeah, it's a dying art. Hopefully it comes back. I still think it will.
I think it'll come back. I think it'll
I
come
think
back.
it's a revolving door, But what we see like Cherundolo building and stuff is just, I think this midfield, the combination of the players that we have there, they I would say have high, medium or to high work rates. They're all players that can go up and drop back just as much and defend and attack. Because we all know that Ilie can play a ball. Ilie can play a ball.
Yeah.
That's not, and he can drop back and defend.
Illy last year showed how vital he was to creating any sort of offense. So having Tillman now there is kind of a little bit of insurance policy, I feel like, in case Ilie is out. Costa could drop a little deeper, be the DM, and Tillman can kind of take a little bit more of the playmaking responsibilities with
Right.
Sifu. But I do love the balance of the squad with Costa, Ilie, and Tillman.
Yeah,
And
I had to see the lineup one more time.
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, bro, like I usually do, I usually get ahead of myself and I talk about Tillman right away. But like since we last talked, and I basically see you like every other day,
Yeah,
apparently.
that's
You know, LAFC had a Champions League game against the Costa Rican side. Fudge, I'm gonna mess this up. Alajuelense.
I think so. It's LD for Landon Donovan. Just kidding.
No, Liga Deportivo Alajuelense.
Alajuelense. Yeah, I think that was right. Alajuelense.
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 Yeah. And they thrashed them in Costa Rica.
Which, I think they were on some sort of winning streak, from what I understand.
Okay. Well,
checking
didn't
right now.
look like it because Denny Buonga
Nah, never mind. They weren't.
scored a hat trick on him in Costa Rica, bro. And also, quick tangent, real quick. Have you noticed that the announcer in the now BMO Stadium says Denny Buonga?
Did he say Dennis before? I feel like he. No, yeah, you're right. They never said Denny. Well, we didn't hear it too many times last season.
Last season, I feel like we didn't hear it, but I feel like this season, it's not, to me, doesn't sound like Dennis, I guess now. It's Denny, and the S is like silent.
I'm gonna have to pay close attention
Because
next game,
I was very confused. I was like, Denny? What about the S? He's French, or like he's French,
Denny.
he was raised in France.
He's essentially French. Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe that's a thing over there. But anyway.
I was actually thinking about that.
What?
Thinking about how Do you think that Dennis Buonga, a 21-year-old Dennis Buonga, ever imagined himself playing in Costa Rica?
Dude, I really don't think a guy who's probably played in Europe or has grown up his entire life in Europe and thought, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna play the CONCACAF Champions
He
League
wanted Champions
in
League
Costa
football.
Rica."
He got it.
He
He
did.
got it.
He got
I don't know if he ever played in the Champions League in. Did he
probably
play for
not Saint Etienne,
Etienne?
so it's low level team.
Yeah, they weren't ever any like thing to like rave about. But I just had that thought earlier today when I was thinking of the fact that Dennis Buonga dropped 3 on them.
Dude, I mean, this goes back to like literally the first thing I said, which was saying like this team has got me really excited because the front three with Buonga, Opoku, and Vela just looks like it's working perfectly.
It's just okay. I've said it before and stuff, and I don't mean it in the sense that our guys are like the same thing. I mean it in the fluidity and the chemistry. But I'm getting like MSN vibes. Like there's just so much understanding.
That is Messi, Neymar, and Suarez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have our own over here, OBV.
Yeah. That's right. Avi.
Obvi.
Avi, they're good.
Obviously.
So
Opoku.
Buonga, Vela, yeah.
You know, we get our in Spanish, we get our B's and our V's mixed up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Be grande o be chica.
Es lo
I still
mismo,
don't know the
difference. Yo
difference.
tampoco. Anyway. But like Buonga and Opoku and Vela just have this fluidity about them.
And dude, if
that's
you think
so nice, dude.
And like across, think about this. We have Vela, the tried and true veteran captain.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Buonga, the man of the hour in his prime.
Yeah.
And then we have the next one up, Opoku, all working together. And each and every one of those can take something from the other and teach the other one something. Like Opoku can provide the extra energy for Vela. Buonga can put the team on his back for Vela.
It's looking like he is.
Opoku can like fill in all the gaps. He's still got that high work rate. Not that Buonga doesn't, because Buonga's work rate is
that's another thing I wanted to talk about because like in the world of football, soccer, the press is such a big deal. You know what I mean?
Gegenpress.
Yeah, the Gegenpress, like make sure it works to function a certain way. The guy has to be waiting in a certain position. And it's a whole different deal, right? But that's like the modern day game,
it's the modern
right?
day game. I agree.
And I just feel like Opoku being 22, having all that energy and the press, and Buonga, who's in his prime at 27, I believe he is, giving that effort and also pressing, because we know Vela is not going to do it. Huh?
Buonga's younger than me.
He is, dude. Yeah, I think I'm also older than Buonga, so teardrop there.
That's crazy.
Bro, we're old, dog. Don't matter. We were there from the beginning for LAFC back in 2014.
Yeah, that's when we were still younger than half the squad.
Exactly.
Not anymore, man.
Not anymore. Times
have
changed.
That's all good. It's like Buonga, like you mentioned, 27 in his prime, and he's just been absolutely killing it. It's him coming here and I think just that goal in Portland it just needed to happen, and then after that, like the floodgates have like kind of started to open up. And will they continue? I'm not entirely sure, just because again, like I don't know how much of a test Alajuelense is. But with that being said, we went there to do a job, and the job was done and completed and efficiently and correctly, because we have seen already within this Champions League teams that have not, I don't want to say necessarily taken the opposition seriously, but they've
brushed them off.
They've brushed them off,
bro.
And now here, I don't really care, but Austin, they got sent packing.
Yeah.
By a team from Haiti, and I guess I'm really happy about it, because they're, I guess, our direct competitors,
Right.
And they got there by going to the Western Conference Final,
Yeah.
It's for nothing, because they got, so are we the best team in the Conca Champions League now?
Well, you still have Liga MX teams to deal with, but
Pachuca in particular.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, as far as like the CONCACAF Champions League, we've won the MLS Cup, which I
Yeah.
don't think that should deter us from trying to repeat again, especially the way we're looking right now.
I agree.
But I do think CONCACAF Champions League
Priority.
is a priority, especially with the new Club World Cup setup coming up.
That's right. Both Chelsea and Madrid are
Madrid
gonna
are
be in
already
there.
there, and whomever this year wins, will also be a part of that Club World Cup,
Well, last
along with
year's-
Seattle Sounders.
Oh, that's really cool, dude. That would be pretty cool. I kind of like that. It's interesting. It's different.
Yeah,
That's really cool. That would be pretty. That'd be great.
To me, that's a huge deal,
Yeah,
man.
so we can finally make it past the first game.
Yeah,
Because Seattle did us dirty.
they totally did, but like, it's gonna put us, LAFC, the MLS, U.S. soccer in general, like, in a comparative way towards Europe. Like, how
We'll
do we
see
compare?
where we stack up against
Where do
them.
we stand? Are we really not a top 10 league, or can we potentially say we have broken that barrier as a top 10 league in the world? So, to me, that's a
interesting
very
thought.
important
Yeah, I
thing.
like that
And
too.
as an LAFC fan, I just think this club has meant for trophies. That's what they want. That's what their game plan is. It's a club that
100%.
is trying to be the elite team in MLS, in my opinion. It's what the Galaxy should have been, but they
That's
have
okay. They're
fallen off. So
they got bigger fish to fry
they
now.
definitely got
So
problems.
they're on their own now with that in that aspect. They gotta don't care.
Yeah, I really don't care. So, I mean, last week's game against Alajuelense, all right, was, obviously a very big victory. We're playing the second round of the CONCACAF Champions League at literally like in 20 minutes as of recording
In
this.
6 minutes.
Oh shoot,
It
6
starts
minutes.
in 6 minutes.
So at the BMO, which we are not at.
No,
But
unfortunately, no, not today.
I got day jobs, man. I
Yeah.
gotta wake up really early. But so
How else would
disappointed
we
I'm not
provide this
there.
content for you guys.
Right. How would we bring that forward? Yeah.
Exactly. That's what we're here. We're doing this for you guys.
We're making the sacrifice for you guys. You're welcome. Just kidding. But I know this Costa Rican side is going to come into the BMO Stadium, and LAFC, I'm hoping, comes out with a strong energy and doesn't underestimate the situation. If it's a 1-0 victory, to me, that's fine. But don't sit back and just kind of like disrespect this Alajuelense.
The lineup's out.
Tell me, bro.
All right.
Who's okay?
All right. So
Strong team.
strong team. I'll start from the bottom. So
Okay.
we're going back with Mac Daddy. I like that. But this
Yeah.
would have been a good opportunity. Actually, well, our second keeper is the 38-year-old guy from Everton, and then our third keeper is an academy guy that we signed up for this season. So
Mac Daddy's fine.
Mac Daddy's fine. On the right, we got Sergio Palencia. Good signs from him. Hollingshead came off. From last thing I heard, is that he had a collapsed lung. So
What?
I got to do more research, see where that, how he's feeling,
Yeah.
but it's not looking good. However, Sergio Palencia did. I thought he did well at the weekend.
I agree.
Maldonado looked just as good too, so I'm okay with that.
Mm.
Chiellini and Long, and then
Wow.
Palacios. So our back lineup.
That's a
is
strong defense.
It's strong. Oh, well, if you think about it, our depth players aren't necessarily weak anymore. Like our depth is getting good. And then in the midfield, we got Sanchez, Tillman, and Sifu. So I'm excited to see that.
Oh,
So
interesting.
resting Acosta.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
but
yeah, okay.
but this past weekend, it was Sifu who got the rest.
Right.
And now this time it's Acosta. So it's rotating. But as you can see, Sanchez, a mainstay.
He's a
gotta be
mainstay.
there.
He's got to be there.
And then we got Vela, Buick, and Opoku. So this is kind of different. But I kind of like it. I think this is a great opportunity for Buick because he got his goal this weekend.
He did.
Fine. And you know what? I'm really happy because it came a lot sooner than I probably would have expected. But at the same time, the only reason why I'm surprised per se is just because how often do you see a player come here, an
From
international
Europe,
player from Europe,
yeah.
and they actually struggle to find some sort of form, or they struggle to like make themselves be a dominant player. But and especially him coming in so young and having to like learn a whole new like league and system and everything. I wasn't sure what kind of what we would see from him, but we already got a goal out of him, and I'm very excited. I'm very happy for him, and I'm glad that he's getting this opportunity to start so he can show us. And I think this is a great opportunity. You're playing at home. You're already 3-0 up, so you kind of have a little less pressure in that aspect.
Right.
But this is an opportunity for you to show
what you
can
got.
do, show what you can do, and this is gonna have, dude, Opoku and Buick together. I think is gonna be
Well,
a problem.
I talked to you at the game, at the 4-0 victory against New England
4-0.
Revolution. Shout out to Latif Blessing for getting his
Oh, look
championship
how they
ring.
have it on the on the TV. They have Vela as a striker.
Well,
But
we know it's a free flow.
it's a free flow on LAFC's official page. It's Buick as a striker.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, it's the
Who
same.
knows?
But like
MSN.
Avi.
Oh, and it
Avi.
still works with him.
Does it?
Yeah, because
Buonga? Oh man,
Yes,
Avi.
I like this.
Dude, we need to make that a thing. Oh my gosh.
Avi.
We're gonna make that a
Yes,
thing.
I like that. But yeah, so I'm sorry you were saying.
What was I?
know,
Oh yeah,
I
so
distracted myself too.
the 4-0 victory against New England, like Buick played a big portion of the game, right? And I felt that he's really electric. Like the scouting report on him was he's a tricky winger, fast, got the good pace, got a good burst, agility. But I can see where he's definitely a young player still because he doesn't have that final product. It was always, that thing that you and I always talked about with Opoku in years past was that Opoku didn't have that finishing product. Like in the final third, he didn't know what to pass or who to pass it to or whether he should shoot it or not or whether he should take on a player. And I felt like Buick kind of questioned himself a little bit, but like you said, it's part of adapting to a new league, a new country, new team.
I'm sure he knows English, right? But now having to use English primarily might be a bit of a
Yeah.
switch. We've all done it. Like for me, for example, I'm fluent in Spanish, but when I go to Mexico, like the first few days, I'm like, whoa, like I need a second. Like, I need to like
I need
hold
to
on.
change my brain to
I gotta
think
change.
in Spanish.
Eventually, by the end of my trips, my dreams are in Spanish too. It's crazy.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
okay.
like I just like my whole mind kind of started thinking in Spanish. I'm like, wait a minute, this
You
voice.
have to, dude.
You have to, but you have to.
Yeah.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
But what my point being is, it's when it's and in English and Spanish is technically my first language, right? So this and this just to speak to the how difficult this can be. English is not his first language. He's coming here, and to have to like think. I mean, I'm sure he's thinking in Croatian, but like now you have to think about what you're trying to translate and say. It has to be quick and stuff. So I'm sure that whole process and getting accustomed to the language being primarily used, or English being primarily used daily, it's taking its time and whatnot. But from what we like, that's why it's like it's impressive that he got his goal so quick already, and hopefully that we can see that this week or in this game as well.
Yeah, because, I mean, getting your first goal is getting that monkey off your back. So now he knows he can score.
Of course,
He can fit into this team, and it's only going to build his confidence. So
yeah, I think him getting the start is, Trundle knows what he's doing. He's giving him confidence.
well, we know Chirundolo is a player's coach,
I
but
think so. Yeah.
but I'm also starting to believe that Chirundolo actually knows more tactics than we give him credit for.
Wow, and there's 30 seconds in, and he's already like
Causing havoc.
We got a corner kick, and Tillman's taking it, of course. Let's see where this leads us, because I'm feeling confident. Oh, never mind.
Damn, nothing.
I jinxed it.
Well, okay, so we know, LAFC has been playing really well in our first 3 games. We just beat New England 4-0. We in our first game we beat Portland Timbers. What was it? 3-2.
3-2. No questions to be answered, but I mean, first game back.
Right.
That
was the first game of the season. A little slight pass, and then Alajuelense, we're basically showing the opponent that we're not going to go lightly on you. We're going for the kill, and I like that mentality
I do
for
too.
LAFC and the club in general because it's a winning mentality.
It is a winning mentality, and I think that's what we need to instill in these players and understand that we're, not we're, like, I keep saying it like we're there, but that LAFC, it's going for everything. But primarily like the Champions League, and you can't put in like a depleted squad or a super rotated squad if you're really serious about being your main
What,
trophy, or.
plus, they're trying to grow it, and I think the Club World Cup thing almost made it even more important, like the new changes to it. So, because that's a lot more money, a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Viewership, as
Yeah,
far
more
as
views, more
more
people.
views and stuff, more
It's more
people,
global.
more globalization of like U.S. soccer.
Yeah.
Speaking of globalization, of U.S. soccer, LAFC have made kind of an interesting partnership that was announced a couple days ago with Bayern Munich,
That's right.
which is clearly why I'm wearing this jersey.
The Oktoberfest jersey.
Because from my understanding and from what I've read, LAFC is now partnering up with Bayern Munich to create a development like program for their players. So youth players are going to have a better infrastructure based off of things that are happening in Munich. Those kind of ideas, those kind of practices, those kind of like methods are going to be brought to LAFC. And also players at Bayern on their academy can have opportunities to come to LAFC like Buick, like Maldonado, like Opoku, those young, developing kind of guys to come play here. And to me, I think that's just so important because only certain teams like NYCFC connected with Manchester City, Girona, and other things like that doesn't really happen that much, and I feel like it should because these clubs are modeled after European giants. That's just the way it is because that's the standard.
That's what works.
Right, that's
the
the
working model.
So to have them now like have a partnership with Bayern, where in the past Bayern had a partnership with FC Dallas and move players there like Chris Richards that we know, Justin Che, I believe.
Justin Che.
Like players like that went to the Bayern Academy from Dallas. And I think that's just so important because it gives the opportunity for kids in the LAFC Academy in the Southern California region to kind of have that direct route to Europe.
Yeah.
And you're not just going to just any club. You're going to Bayern Munich, who historically is the best club in Germany, and I'd say definitely for sure a top 5 club in Europe.
They still are. I mean, we
Yeah.
all know what the Bundesliga is or isn't, right? But I mean, Bayern just put the smackdown on Messi and co.
Yeah.
And that includes Mbappe and Sergio Ramos and Donnarumma.
For whatever reason, and I really have no idea why, I've admired Bayern Munich because it doesn't matter if they're winning the league by 10, 20 points or right now tied, but they always put a very competitive team
They do.
in Europe, in Champions League. So
they're serious about the Champions League. That's
yeah.
I think they know, that the Bundesliga is only so much. If you want real recognition and everything, there's you got to get the Champions League. The Champions League is where it's at.
For real, dude. And you know what I think is kind of like an interesting thing. Like how the Bundesliga isn't like a trophy; it's like a big old plate.
Oh, the shield, yeah.
Yeah, the shield or whatever.
Whatever it is, yeah.
It's just like the supporter shield that gives me like those connection vibes, Like
see that's the German elite mentality.
Yeah.
The league, that's just a supporter shield.
Yeah, it's
It
supporter
don't
shield.
matter.
It doesn't
to us.
matter.
It's the Champions League. That's the real league.
That's what really matters.
That's the playoffs and everything. I mean, it is.
It is basically.
If you think about it that
sort
way.
of. But I think it's super cool. Like the initiative, I think is called the Red and Gold Partnership or something like that. I don't know. I think that's really cool. I'm really excited to see how that translates in the coming years with players coming from Bayern Munich. Will we see a Justin Che come to LAFC kind of player, just like, oh, I need more game time?
You know who it opens the door to?
Musiala, Thomas Muller,
Choupo-Moting.
Choupo-Moting. Oh my! I'm down for that, dude. That's a sick striker to have.
I mean,
I know he's in like his early 30s, but you know what? That is.
Oh, are we looking at a possible handball?
Chiellini, what is he gonna do there? Anyway, you guys will see it probably as you're probably watching right now, LAFC fans. And it is a
PK.
dang.
You know,
So
I don't like this, but I do in a sense because it spices it up.
it does, but it also makes me incredibly nervous.
It does, but let's remember, Mac Daddy is a PK specialist.
You're not wrong.
He
You're
was
not
already
wrong.
warming up to come on before Krapo broke his leg because of the PKs. Because they were thinking about the PKs, so he was already going to be coming on for that.
Yeah.
That's like his specialty. So
I also want to give a little bit of credit to McCarthy because in the past podcast, I was a little bit hard on him for not like being the presence in the box that I would want out of my keeper. So against New England, it did feel like he was commanding the box more.
it
So
did, yeah. I did get that sort of feeling too.
I think maybe it was nerves at first, and
Of course, their striker. Why does he look familiar?
well,
26 or who's that 26 guy?
well, as we
Gonzalez.
watch whether the penalty outcome comes to a goal or not, we will see. But I think as far as like the past week of LAFC,
This guy used to play for Galaxy.
and he scored
Yeah.
against
So,
Mac Daddy.
He was actually. I knew I recognized this guy. So I'm gonna
What is his
read you
name?
his name is Giancarlo Gonzalez. Okay. Giancarlo Gonzalez started his career in the summer of 2008, June, with LD Alajuelense. He made his way over to Valerenga. Then from there he went to Columbus Crew in 2014. Then from Columbus Crew he went to Palermo. Was there for 3 years. From Palermo he went to Bologna.
Okay, so this guy has been around Europe.
He's Costa Rican,
MLS.
yeah.
Okay.
From Bologna, he went to Galaxy, and then from Galaxy, he went on loan to Alajuelense. He was there from July 21 to December 21. But it looks like, and then he was then he went back to Galaxy for a month, and then back to Alajuelense. But yeah, that's why this guy looked familiar. I think I've seen him. I remember playing against him, and or like seeing him for Galaxy. I don't remember him in the Serie A. But yeah, but that's wow. That's kind of funny because I don't think we expected a former European player to be playing with
On a Costa Rican team.
But it makes sense because these guys. I mean, look at the Costa Rican national team. I mean, you got players like Brian Ruiz and stuff. Joel Campbell. They do get
the occasional player to go abroad to Europe. And things
and
like
of
that.
course they're gonna. Everyone always has a soft spot for coming back home to play, especially at like older age, and that's. How old is this?
I don't blame him for going to play the rest of his career in Costa Rica. Not that I've been, but I've heard a lot of good things.
I mean, he's 35, so
yeah,
ain't bad.
he's
But
retiring.
that's pretty cool. So I knew I recognized him. But anyways, so Alajuelense just scored their goal. We'll focus more on that, I guess, in the coming episode. But yeah, Mac Daddy, I think he's it might have been a little bit of the nerves and stuff. It's the first game of the season, home. It's got. I'm sure he too feels a little bit of pressure just because I think expectations of him are a little higher than they were before because of the final and everything. I mean, he was our MVP. You're not MVP in the greatest MLS final in history for no reason.
Plus, if you're McCarthy, Mac Daddy, you want to potentially earn this starting spot or get a move next season to play on a team as a starter as well. I don't think this is a guy who wants to be a backup for the rest of his career.
No.
So this is a good opportunity for him to really showcase himself. And first game, I got worried a little bit. I thought we were going through the same old goalkeeping issues that we've had in the past few seasons. But
I still think that first goal he got screwed on his line of sight a little bit because I can't imagine that he would just react so slow for just slowly, As I really think it was this line of sight. But yeah, the second goal, there was questions to be asked. But we'll see. He didn't stop this PK, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, moving on, I think the other players that we've had, I'm excited for Long to finally see some more of Long.
More of Aaron Long. Like I feel like I thought he was going to be our number one starter from the very beginning, but I think it's been good. He's kind of been worked into it.
Yeah, he's been worked into the squad, which I'm totally fine with, and I just I think I feel like our defense is pretty. How do I say it? Like I don't feel nervous when someone else comes on. Like
I
I'm just like
don't.
plug and play.
To me, the Hollingshead potential injury out for a if he's out for a good portion of time or even a few weeks, I'm a little concerned because I don't know too much depth there. I know Maldonado can play as a right back, but from what I know, he's naturally a center back.
Right.
So
And we're kind of SOL when it comes to the rest of our defense. I mean, we don't have a backup for Palacios.
no, but then
Which
again,
is,
Palacio is an Iron Man. I've never
dude,
not seen that guy play.
I think so too. Look, I mean, the guy's just Palacios. I think was just he wasn't a low key signing because he was apparently being looked at by like Barcelona and stuff. And at the time, not that I didn't believe it, but I was just like, okay. I mean, it's not like all right, maybe, but like, why come in us,
Yeah.
Like, why would you, But like now I can totally see like, you know what? Yeah, he does have qualities of like European players, and he's one of those like he's not your old school defensive or outside back that just defends. He totally brings the attack. Like,
He does.
how many times have you seen him like just connecting with Buonga like up there right outside of the 18? Like,
Dude, to me, the skill set of having an attacking outside back only adds like an immense piece to your offense because you're adding another player in the final third, like essentially.
yeah, exactly.
So having that extra person there when the defense is already taking on a certain amount of pressure, do they bring back another player or do they just kind of take it?
But that's why we have
So,
And
and I
then
think that's why Valencia potentially could do the same thing on the right back side.
I think so too.
So I like the kid so far. We've only seen him in one start, but
This is the second one right here, so
yeah, second one right here.
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
But yeah, going back to the New England game, just 4-0, just dominating win. It's exactly what we needed, man. Like, it's, after that Portland game, we were like, we didn't know how to feel. We won, but, like, it could have been better. And then, Alajuelense, like I said, it's a Champions League game and all, but again, it's a Costa Rican team. It's not the same level of competition that is here in the MLS. I mean, this isn't a knock to them, but I mean, just look at the difference in the values of the squad. Like that's a huge telltale sign. So that this game against New England, I just thought it just made me feel so much better because it made me feel like, okay, you know what, we're good.
we're on the right path.
We're good.
And I totally believe we're on the right path. But we got a difficult game this weekend against the Seattle Sounders away from home. So it's going to be a big kind of challenge for LAFC to really gauge where they're going to be.
Yeah.
And then,
although Seattle was horrible last season, I don't know how they're looking this season so far.
they're pretty good at Lumen Field most of the time. And I feel like an old foe in LAFC is really going to light that fire under them if they weren't already.
But this is also a team that failed to qualify for
Playoffs.
for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. You're right. This is a one-off game, and like we've mentioned before, like you said right now, like against LAFC, there seems to be some sort of fire lit under them. They just seem to bring their A game.
Them in the Galaxy.
Yeah. So, but I think it says a lot about us.
That does.
That we bring like you have to come and bring that to beat us. So so
we're becoming one of the most
I would say
feared teams.
Yeah, there you go. One of the feared
in
teams.
the MLS.
Like, oh shit, we're playing them. All right.
Yeah.
You, the good guys, get on.
Well, I think that just about covers this past week's games and what's been going on with the club. So, I guess we will be looking forward to next time the result of this Alajuelense game
and the
Seattle game, where we can finally see, or not finally, but like
it'll be a good run of games. For now, we'll have a better gauge of where we stand.
Exactly.
Where
Power rankings. Are we really number one? We shall see.
We'll see later.
So, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast. And please know that this podcast is available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And we hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. Later,
Peace
guys.